Hello, and welcome to another one of what I don't know what to call these, like post commentaries. Last time I wasn't wearing pants. I got a lot of feedback from people who were very offended. Said, James, I can't believe you didn't wear pants and didn't have a camera to show it. We want to see that. And my sort of in protest of that, because it's my channel and I'll do whatever the fuck I want. I'm actually wearing pants this time, so yeah, you blew it. Not only am I not on camera not wearing pants, but now I'm off camera wearing pants. So yeah, that'll show you. Anyways, in this video, I wanted to talk about mental health and my personal experience with it recently. I think it's something that a lot of my friends that I've met through Dead by Daylight and online gaming in general have experiences with, either first or second hand. So yeah, let's get into it. So first things first, I can really only speak to my personal experience with mental health at this point. But there's definitely it's a very common struggle that a lot of us deal with, if not right now in day-to-day life. At some point in life, everybody experiences things like depression and anxiety, and I think sometimes those can become a bit much to manage and deal with at times. It can be very difficult. And video games are kind of like they can be an escape from that. I think that's part of what got me so sucked into Dead by Daylight is it has a very particular charm when it comes to kind of sucking you in. You know what I mean? I mean, if you're watching this, you're probably someone who I met through Dead by Daylight, and someone who is horribly addicted to it, even though you probably hate it to an extent, because it sucks. But there's something about the grind of the blood points, the randomness of every game, and so on. It just, moment to moment, everything feels really important, and very memorable moments take place. And there's something about that I think lends itself very well to like escapism. You know, if you want to take your mind off what's going on in your real life outside of gaming and video games and stuff like that, Dead by Daylight is very effective at that one. But then I think what happens is, with Dead by Daylight, at least in our region, you start to see the same people a few times as you rank up and play more often and get better at the game. People recognize you and you recognize them, and it doesn't take long before this game that was meant to just be an escape from reality becomes kind of a second reality in and of itself. There's this whole, what do I want to say, like almost like community of people all trying to coexist, and there's like what do I want to say? Not like rules, but there's social norms. It's a social setting, and in there, like with social settings come a lot of good and some bad things. And I've experienced a lot of really good things and some bad things, but a lot of really good things through the people that I've met and this weird little messed up world that is Dead by Daylight in our region. I've made some of the best friends that I've ever had through online gaming, and this game in particular, and I value that a lot. I've kind of, in typical fashion, gone off topic from mental health. I need to get back on topic. I'm going to talk about my personal experience with mental health in very recent times, And by very recent, I mean I actually spoke to a psychiatrist for the first time today. It's something that I have been, it's been suggested to me for quite a few months now, I think, and it's something that I've been putting off because I was scared to talk to a psychiatrist about my mental health. And it I think it's pretty normal to be scared. I don't know if like I just want to put that out there for anybody who else who might be in a similar situation. If you know you feel like you're a little bit down and it's just getting worse and worse, you see a doctor and then suddenly it's all medication and psychiatrists and psychologists and stuff. It can be incredibly confronting. I found it incredibly confronting trying to manage and come to terms with and face what I'm dealing with. And part of why I think for me personally I took so long to actually make the appointment, and for the record, it was a video call. They're not seeing people in person due to COVID. But I think for me, I didn't want to be, how do I put it, defined, I think, by a diagnosis by a psychiatrist. I didn't want them to say, yes, you, James, you have this. This is something that's going on. And I think I wanted to believe that what I'm going through is circumstantial, that it's cause and effect, that I feel X because of Y and Z, because these things happened to me or around me, or I experienced these things, I therefore feel this way. And it's not indicative of some greater, deeper issue in my life or in my brain or my mind. It's circumstantial, it's acute, temporary. And I don't need to see a psychiatrist for that. I just need to, figure my life out. Figure out how I want to structure for me, it was sort of about taking control of the narrative of what was wrong in my life. I like writing stories, so for me, I've had a very narrative-driven approach to figuring out how I feel about things and how my life's going. So I think of it in terms of characters and emotions and very abstract, artful thinking. But that is also paired with a lot of very analytical, analytical self-awareness too, that can be quite contradictory, because I want to believe in some big revelation that's around the corner that I can have in a narrative sense. I want to believe that I can figure out or get on top of what exactly is wrong and then just work on it. I want to be able to point out the plot hole or the flaw in my thinking and then just adapt. But I think after so long of failing at that, no matter how many revelations I would have, how many realizations or corners I would turn, nothing ever really actually made me feel any better. And it's taken me a very long time to kind of come to terms with at least let the idea in that maybe there's more to it. Maybe part of why I can't adapt to it and manage it as well as I would like is because I'm dealing with something that's larger than just a story or a circumstance. Maybe there's something, I don't know, fucky afoot in the brain department. That was how she put it. That was her diagnosis in the end, was I have something fucky in the brain department. just a little bit. At some point, though, I think I found out I might have figured out how to reconcile these two things: this clinical, analytical, diagnostic approach, and the more like desired narrative, descriptive understanding of myself, like that sort of approach. And I realized that accepting or rejecting the diagnostic scientific approach, the lens, like being, accepting the version of events where through the lens of psychiatry, medication, medicine, thinking about how my brain's wired and chemicals and imbalances and things like that. To accept or reject that side of it speaks to how the narrative side of it is, how it develops. So, I mean, it's part of my personal subjective journey to choose to accept or deny that part of my own story, to let in or say no to any diagnosis or psychiatry, medication, things like that, or to say yes. It's a choice that I have, and that in and of itself is part of my story and my personal development as a person, and that's separate from brain chemicals and diagnoses and doctors and stuff like that. I was scared that going into it, I was scared that I was going to lose my view of myself and just myself in general to these descriptions and diagnoses. I was just going to be defined as someone who had X, Y, or Z, and I didn't really want to lose myself. But truth is once I thought of it that way and reconciled those two things in my mind, it became very clear that at the end of the day, I needed help. And having received that help today, I'm glad I did. I am really glad that I did. Aside from like $1 million, I didn't really have anything to lose. Psychiatry and mental health is crazy expensive, but there's workarounds and Medicare rebates and shit. I don't know, that's not for this video, but well, yeah, we're already at the fucking end of this thing, and I really want to end on that note that if you are unsure about your own mental health, or if you are scared of mental health, I think it's perfectly normal. My psychiatrist said that it's perfectly normal. I brought it up to her. And yeah, I mean, she'd know, right? But if you need help, get help. It's it can just be part of your story and your journey. It doesn't have to define every aspect of your life. Your life doesn't stop, and it's a lot more okay than you might think. And I think that's the note that I want to end on for this one. So thanks for watching, and if you're good, next time, no pants, possibly camera. I don't know, depends how you behave. Okay, bye, love you.